with the latest updates and insights on world news as it relates to Bible prophecy. Here's Alan Horvath. This is what the LameStream Media is not telling you.
Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's newscast. Thousands of Iranian and Iraqi fighters have been deployed in Syria to reinforce the defenses of Damascus and its surroundings. Around 7,000 Iranian and Iraqi fighters arrived in Syria over the past few weeks, and their first priority is the defense of the capital, Damascus. Iran's official news agency, IRNA, quoted elite Revolutionary Guards General Qasem Soleimani as saying, quote, "In the coming days, the world will be surprised by what we are preparing in cooperation with Syrian military leaders." ISIS is hard at work with their goal of taking over Damascus, my friends, and the absolute leveling of Damascus. Look at Isaiah chapter 17, verse 1. May very well be the next prophetic event, followed by the Psalm 83 war. If you've been watching my newscasts, you know that I talked about the Psalm 83 war. I have a video about it. But now, if you would like to get a very clear picture for yourself of what is going on in the Middle East today, how it got there historically, and where it will go next, you would do very well to read Bill Salus's book titled Psalm 83, The Missing Prophecy Revealed, How Israel Becomes the Next Mideast Superpower. Bill Salus does a job on this subject like no one else. It's a $16 paperback, and I have a link that you can click on in the More Info section below this video that will take you to Amazon.com where you can make a quick purchase. I strongly urge you to do so. It's a book well worth reading, and it will not only clarify things for you historically and give you a real clear idea about exactly what is going on today, what's developing, and most importantly, how that all ties in with Bible prophecy. Now, turning to wars and rumors of wars. Tuesday, June 2nd, a local Salafi leader was shot dead in Gaza City during a confrontation with Hamas security forces as tensions mounted between Gaza's Islamist rulers and its extremist opponents. The extremist tried to blow himself up with a suicide vest, but was shot dead before it detonated. Then on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2 rockets were fired at Israel in Gaza late on Wednesday. The projectiles landed in open fields not far from the western Negev town of Netivot. Note, it's been discovered that Hamas is not behind these latest rocket fires out of Gaza, but rather Salafi jihadis. Thursday, June 4th, Israeli airstrikes hit 3 training bases of the Ezzedine al-Qassam brigades in Gaza City and a 4th in the southern city of Khan Yunis on Thursday morning in response to the rocket fire toward Israel from Gaza on Wednesday. The rocket fire was claimed by a group calling itself Supporters of the Islamic State in Jerusalem, which has recently emerged in the Gaza Strip. This is the second rocket attack against Israel in the past week. On Friday, June 5th, reports came in that ISIS has closed the gates of a dam in the Iraqi city of Ramadi, which they seized last month, posing a humanitarian and security threat, lowering the level of the Euphrates River and cutting off water supplies to some of the last held pro-government forces in Anbar. And, of course, the lower water levels make it easier for ISIS to carry out attacks. Iran sent 15,000 fighters to Syria to reverse recent battlefield setbacks for Syrian government troops and wants to achieve results by the end of this month. The militia force, made up of Iranians, Iraqis, and Afghanis, have arrived in the Damascus region and in the coastal province of Latakia. Damascus is starting to become a focus, my friends. The IDF, that's Israeli Defense Forces Gaza Division, is fortifying defenses in places like Kibbutz Ein Hashlosha, in Kisufim, Nahal Oz, and Kerem Shalom. These include new electronic sensor fences linked to IDF control rooms that can scramble forces which are always nearby. Moreover, the IDF has begun deploying components of the new high-tech underground tunnel detection system I reported to you last week. Then, on Saturday, June 6th, Ashkelon Mayor Itamar Shimoni said on Saturday that the moment of truth has come for the Jewish state. Quote, "This is no longer a mistake or a single incident," he said, in reference to a rocket that was fired from Gaza at the Hof Ashkelon region. Continuing, he said, but rather a serious violation of the ceasefire. He's referring to the agreement reached between Israel and Hamas in August. And then he went on to say, the quiet we thought would prevail in the area after the July-August war has quickly evanesced, and we cannot accept this reality. This is the moment to change it. He also clarified that he, quote, trusts the government and the man who stands at its helm, close quote, obviously referring to the most honorable Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Also on Saturday, the United States attacked 21 ISIS targets in the Anbar province near Palmyra over a 24-hour period, as Shiite militias and army soldiers fought a fierce battle east of Ramadi. Remember, for ISIS, Palmyra is the doorway to Damascus. ISIS fighters attacked the government-held town of Husayba with heavy mortar fire early on Saturday. The attackers finally retreated, leaving behind 3 destroyed vehicles and 5 dead fighters. Also on Saturday, Saudi Arabia used Patriot missiles to shoot down a Scud missile fired from Yemen by forces loyal to Yemen's Houthi rebels. Now, even as the United States struggles to combat ISIS fighters in Iraq and Syria, ISIS is now expanding in 12 countries across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. In Afghanistan and Pakistan, ISIS leaders have reached out to disaffected Taliban commanders. In Nigeria, ISIS is aiding cash-strapped Boko Haram. ISIS is now linked to attacks in Paris, Ottawa, Brussels, Copenhagen, Sydney, and Garland, Texas. And there have also been arrests of individuals affiliated with ISIS in New York and Minneapolis. Let's not forget that the primary goal of ISIS is not centered on the Middle East, my friends. It is to enforce Sharia law everywhere on earth. We are seeing rocket attacks on Israel increasing these past 2 weeks, with absolutely no world leaders anywhere condemning them, other than Israel, of course. Damascus is fast becoming a greater concern, with offense and defense being fortified daily, and Satan's army, ISIS, is growing like wildfire. We are seeing the chess pieces of Isaiah 17, verse 1, and Psalm 83 being actively set up on the chessboard of the Middle East. And that, my friends, is what the LameStream Media is not telling you. Abba willing, I'll see you here again next week. Until then, stay safe. Shalom.
Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube, Facebook, or anywhere else you see it. You can share this video with all your favorite networks by clicking the share button below this video. For weekly insightful newscasts by Alan, make sure you click that YouTube subscribe button.
I don't like crowded rooms, I need more space than I consume. Enough is time alone with you, underneath a naked moon, sharing confidential moods and making chatter. Mockingbird nocturnal sings notations of eternal things, entering the quantum breeze, flying not for want of wings. He lights his gaze on you and me, simply because we matter.